Hello, everyone. Man, it's been a couple weeks since we have been on here. Just a crazy time. We had our client appreciation pie and Santa event. Sorry, just inviting Ben. And then we had, I was deathly sick. I wouldn't say deathly, that's being extremely dramatic. Sorry, just trying to pull up my notes while we're doing this. But yeah, so I hope you guys have all had a great time. I just wanted to share an appreciation for you all, approving Ben, send request, for you all watching our videos. We have heard really good feedback from people that say they don't comment on our videos, but they definitely enjoy watching them and enjoy the education piece of it. And so I just wanted to say a big gratitude for everyone that's been tuning in or sharing it or liking and commenting or being a silent watcher as well. That is also just is exciting and fun. So where was I going to leave off? Hi, babe.
Hello.
Edgar gave me one of these. They're actually really good. You're not going to like them. It's called Hum Probiotic Kombucha, zero sugar raspberry lemonade.
Huh.
Yeah. So okay, so let's talk about the market and what's been going on. I think I'm going to have you actually start, and then I can pull up the market information. So what are you going to talk about today, Benjamin?
I've had a lot of questions, and I've seen a lot of realtors and mortgage people and just people in general talk about the 50-year mortgage. So I kind of want to chat a little bit about that today. And
Kinda?
yeah, I mean, I'm going to, not kinda. We're going to touch base a little bit on it, not go into too much detail.
Okay.
And then I just want to chat about an awesome thing we're doing in 2026 at the end on January 21st. So we'll go into that more later.
Awesome. Okay. Tell me about the 50-year mortgage.
Before we go into a 50-year, I want to set real expectations. Right now, we have a 30-year mortgage. And that's the standard. You know, everybody always wants the fixed 30-year. Every once in a while, you'll have some folks that say they want a 20-year term or a 15-year or a 10-year to try to pay it off sooner. Well, a 30-year mortgage, and if you just take a $500,000 purchase,
okay,
that payment, if the rate's in the sixes, is about $29.97 a month, almost $3,000 a month. Okay, it's principal and interest. We're not counting taxes and insurance in this. That's about $35,000 a year in payments with principal and interest. And if you times that by 30 years, that ends up being about $1,079,000, which is huge. So if you're buying a home on a 30-year fixed mortgage, you're going to pay a little over double, 2 times the amount of what that home is worth and you bought today over 30 years.
If you were to stay in your home. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So that's why I just want to have something that the 50 years compared to, because a lot of people are just saying 50 years horrible. And in retrospect, it isn't that great. But there are certain circumstances with proper expectations where it could work. Now, a 50-year compared to the 30-year, same $500,000 home, the payment comes out to be $365 less. This is all with the same rates and fees. That ends up being about $31,000 that year. And if you multiply that times 50, which is wow, that ends up being $1 million. It's $1.5 million and 79,000. So it's an extra 500. So if we did the math, that ends up being about a little over 3 times the amount of the home that they're paying in interest. And,
Okay.
affordability is why they're trying to do this. Just because you're saving monthly $365, you're kicking the can down the road. And if you stay in the home for that 50 years, you're going to end up paying 3+ times the amount on that home, which is huge.
Let's be realistic though. Most people don't stay in their home 30 years or 50 years, those times of
Correct.
our grandparents buying them. So let's talk about like they say the average it used to be 5 to 7 years. It's more looking at like 10 to 12 years now. How would that affect it? And I'm putting you on the spot, so I don't know if you're
Yeah.
going to be able to give me this
No, I
answer.
love this. Please do.
How would it affect if you had a 30-year mortgage at 10 to 12 years, selling versus a 50-year mortgage at 10 to 12 years? Because I'm sure the amortization schedule
Mhm.
is different for that and how much they would be paying off to be
So
able
to
to
answer your
sell.
question, if it was just the same rates and just the same fees, which we'll go into in a moment, again, monthly payment was $365 better.
Okay.
So you could use whatever you want. But as you know, on the 50-year, and because it's simple interest, you pay more interest up front. So that first 10 years rather than maybe 5 to 7, and I'd have to actually run an amortization calculator to answer this question correctly, but I can give you kind of a roundabout number that you're definitely not going to pay as much principal down on that 30-year. You're going to pocket that $300 a month if the rate and the fees are exactly the same comparing from a 30-year to a 50-year. You're going to pocket that 365, and if you take $365 times 12 times say about 10 years, ends up being, let me just do the math real quick, ends up being about 43,000. I don't know if you would have paid more than that in principal doing a 50 versus a 30. So to answer your question, the 30-year probably still would be better as a net result if you sold in 10 years both of them at the same cost and same appraisal value and same everything. You would have just been able to take that $365 and use it to your own choice per month rather than being forced kind of to pay it to the principal or to the interest of your mortgage payment.
Got it. So
Um, yes.
when would you think this would be beneficial for someone to use versus not?
Well, it's not approved yet. And in the past, we have had a 40-year term. Just want to make that
Mm.
clear if anybody doesn't know. Um, what I see to answer your question, and there's variables to give this answer. Currently, if you go backwards from a 10-year or a 30-year to a 20-year to a 15-year to a 10-year, the rate gets better.
Mm.
And the projection of what we're hearing in the rumors is that a 40-year had a little bit higher rate and or may have more fees. The 50-year may even have a higher rate than that. So if the 50-year mortgage comes out and has a higher rate or higher fees, then it won't make sense in any facet because the payment won't be better and all you're doing is kicking interest down the road, and the only person that wins is the person holding the note because they're making all the interest.
Right, right.
So comparing it from a 30 to a 50, is it going to make it more affordable? The only way someone wins is if the rate is better than a 30-year fixed and or the fees are better so that you can get that savings actually per month of 3, 4, 500, whatever it ends up being. If they're the same rates, then you're just kicking that can down the road. And if the rates are higher, it's a definite no, that no one's going to win. Because if the rate is, 0.5% more or whatever that looks like, it ends up putting you in a position where your payment's not better. And then your payment's not better, you're paying more interest, and you're going to pay 3x your home. That's huge. That does not make sense at all. So in order, I guess the results that I've seen is, will a 50-year make it more affordable? If the rate is lower than the 30 or maybe even the 20-year and the fees are lower there. If it's a special program that they release, then it could potentially have a borrower save more money now. And because the average is about 11.8 years someone's in a home, they're not going to pay that last 40 years on their mortgage, they can use that savings and either, be able to afford groceries or gas or who knows, at this point in time. So
Makes
that's kind of the
sense.
basics. I've ran numbers a lot on this, and we have to have the rates be lower on those special programs or it's just not going to make sense.
Got it. Good to know. Good to know. Um, okay, so I wanted to talk about our last couple of closings that we had with these first-time home buyers. I always like to highlight them and
Okay.
go over, house hacking stories or what that looks like, because we still are seeing a lot of home buyer assistant programs and what that looks like. And so talk to me a little bit about that again, and how you get into these homes with little to nothing.
There are a lot of different strategies. The first thing is to turn the light on to find out what you qualify for, because there are a lot of different first-time home buyer down payment assistant programs. We have a new program that's amazing that can help with solar, which is cool, that we'll talk about in the future here. But there's a lot of programs out there that can really kind of, the days of 20% down is gone. So they take care of your first time, your down payment of either 3.5, or maybe even 5% down. And then there's just the closing costs. And in this market right now, as you know, a lot of people, homes aren't moving as fast as they should be. And so, sellers are more motivated. They don't have to, but sellers are more motivated to pay closing costs to have a buyer come buy their home. So with the strategies of being fully pre-approved up front and going through the numbers and understanding, if you have $10,000 that, grandma is going to give you as a gift to buy a house, or you've saved up some money, instead of taking that money and applying it to the purchase of your property, leaving that in your savings and taking whatever your monthly payment is and maybe hedging the amount per month that is more affordable for you and stretching that over the next year to 2 years to be able to then, when the values go up a little bit and the rates do come down, you can exit out of that with a refinance and then have those lower payments in the future also.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's huge. And that's definitely the suggestion of the route of the conversations that we're having with buyers, because, that additional 3% plus on some seller concessions are helping. And really, when you're looking at that, you're out the inspection cost, because that is required with the home buyer assistant programs, and really should be done on all homes when you're purchasing,
Yes.
in my opinion. And any moving costs, any of those types of things. So, you're really getting into a home for less than $2,000 sometimes, depending on if the seller's paying all those closing costs or not. And it's a great time. I have people house hacking where they're renting out rooms, buying duplexes and renting out one side to help with the mortgage side for investment purposes. There's just a lot of different wealth building opportunities. I mean, even taking that 10,000 that grandma is going to give you and putting it into a high yield savings account, huge, 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 huge opportunity. So, I think, just like you said, turning the light on and figuring out what those options are for you so that you can create a plan. I've said this on most of our lives, is get pre-approved and wait. Don't wait to get pre-approved. Like, you don't have to go buy a house just because you're pre-approved, right? You don't have to take action, but at least you'll have the roadmap and the path of what your options are. And we're finding a lot of people are needing help with credit or co-signers or those types of things. And there's a few more hoops that we're having to jump through in order to get you to that fully underwritten pre-approval. And we want to make sure that you're set up for success, so that perfect home doesn't hit the market this weekend and you haven't turned in your documents or done what you needed to do to even know if you qualify for that, because you're looking online, seeing the principal and not looking at what's the taxes or all those other things. What things that you
Well, and to comment, you're kind of breaking up there, but to comment on what I've experienced since we've started these lives. I want to thank all of you who do watch this and share this and are vulnerable in reaching out to us, because we have had a lot of great conversations with people on this from this live that
Mhm.
have truly came to us and been vulnerable and said, right now my credit may not be where it is, but I want to start creating a plan. You inspired me to be able to do that. And just because you have a roadblock or a challenge in either credit, income, or assets doesn't mean you can't start today to be able to create that plan. We have helped so many people since this live has started, and even before, where the credit may be super low in the 400s, and we have done some things to where they went to the 500s, and now we're doing a few more things. There's no dead ends in this. It's just time and understanding what you need to do to overcome those hurdles and partnering with the right people, and that's us, and we can help you take that to the next level.
Yeah, I think I'm now stuttering. What has been sometimes an industry norm for people that don't do this full time, or they just go to their local bank, is they get a no, but they don't know why. And then they don't get any information back, right? And I was just talking, I mean, I sent you Moses the other day, right? Like he had a year ago went to get qualified, didn't know why he didn't get qualified. He has a co-signer, he's ready to go. And there's some hesitation because they're scared, and no one likes to be rejected. Everyone wants to look good and be right. So, but this isn't a yes or no thing. We have to change that industry conversations. This is a not yet or absolutely. So it's just a matter of what they're willing to do, what they're willing to look at.
Yep.
Don't go pay off all your credit cards. Ben tells me all the time, do not pay off that card, do those certain things because it does affect your credit, and you want to make sure that
Can.
you're paying the right things. You're cutting out, Ben. Are you back?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You were cutting out.
Awesome. Well, that brings me to our kind of special announcement. Is Nykole and I are going to be doing a virtual education class on the 21st of January at 6 o'clock. We will put more information out about that. We will go over home buying hacks. I know Nykole has some amazing ones: benefits, the whys, the hows, what's important, what to look for, how to make it affordable. And we will be there, not just like we're doing the live, but we invite all of you. Come sit down for an hour with us, maybe even 30 to 45 minutes, ask some questions, participate. And if you are in a spot where you don't know, you were turned down, or you weren't able to buy what you wanted, and no one took the time to say, hey, here's why, here's what we can do, here's the plan, and grabbed you and said, come on, let's go, we want to help you accomplish your goal. These will all be discussed not only on those classes, but moving forward, we'll set up one-on-ones with you and help you even progress further.
Yeah, just more education. I feel like everyone is getting bombarded with a lot of different stuff right now. And so being able to break it down and come alongside you to feel like an expert along the way is really important.
Love it.
Even if you're a homeowner and you got the COVID rate and you are feeling like, man, I really want to sell. I've got all this debt. I don't know what to do with it, but I have all this equity. And I'd like to look at what my options are. That's a great opportunity too, because there is a lot of people that are focusing on the 2 or 3% and have credit cards for 28%. So your overall credit debt or your car payments or whatever that may need to be, it might make sense for you to refinance. It might make sense for you to sell and get into a different home. They're just conversations. You just need to know what your options are. Like, I think with AI and the world that we live in, everyone watches Grey's Anatomy and is now diagnosing their cancer before going and seeing a doctor. Like, don't diagnose your situation online prior to talking to an expert for free. We're not going to charge your insurance. We're not going to ask you for a deductible or a copay. It's just a conversation to turn on the light and see what your options are so that you can make an educated decision on what that looks like. We're never going to talk you into doing something.
No.
So it's up to you. Okay, well, let's end this with a market update, the super sexy parts of a real estate agent's job. Everyone can find this online, but why not just tell you in a simple format? So we're going to look at Pierce County as a whole. What do you think the average days on market are right now, babe?
62. More? No. Well, there was a holiday. I'm going to say 74.
98
Wow.
average
We're
days
almost at
on market.
100 days. Wow. Do you know how much
Yeah.
opportunity that is? That's super exciting as a mortgage professional, because I mean, that's just like, people are going to be doing 3-2-1 buy downs. And I mean, if you're not buying a home, you should be, because that's amazing. There's so much opportunity in that.
Well, and even if you're looking to sell your home, I could see that there may be some stressors or uncertainty or confusion or not knowing what to look like because there's a ton of inventory on the market or what that looks like. You're going to make it up on the buy side. Now, if you're just selling to sell, let's look and see if that's the best option. Maybe it's renting it out. Maybe there's a lot of different things. But there is so much opportunity out there. This is the best time to buy right
Yeah,
now.
this is exciting.
Like, there is no better time in my career except maybe like 2011 when homes were like 185,000. I should have brought like 20 of them. Who would have thought, right? But that just shows the progression of where we're at, and we will continue. Probably not as crazy as it was. We are adjusting from COVID times. Like, home prices went up 20, 30, 40% in some areas. We are adjusting for those times. So if you bought your house during 21, 22, 23, you might have paid top dollar and may not be able to see that come back around, depending on the home. Every situation's different, depending on how much you put down, whatever. Anyways, what I'm saying is, this is a long game and each situation is different, but we are adjusting for previous times. The market is not crashing, it is not going down. Now, are there foreclosures? Yes. Are there short sales for people that are underwater? Absolutely. And that's been in every market. It's still not above 3% nationwide. It's going to happen. People are losing their jobs. People can't afford. Life situations change. But the market is going to increase year after year. You're writing it up, you're writing it down. And when we're down, it's going to go back up. And so if you don't take the opportunity now and figure out how to house hack or even buy a second property and investment. I mean, there's a lot of vacation homes right now that are literally you can get for so inexpensive. So this is also another really great time to buy second properties. But anyways, okay, I divert. So 98 days in Pierce County. 48% price decreases.
Mm.
And we're still slightly a seller's market in Pierce County, right on the cusp. I mean, we're not a strong seller's market. We're like here, and here's a buyer's market. So, but that's all of Pierce County. When you go into those micro markets, like Puyallup is a seller's market right now. Bless their hearts. Most of Puyallup is a seller's market, depending on price points. But there's just a lot of inventory right now. Um, okay, let's look at King County. Ooh, King County is slightly more of a seller's market than Pierce County, just by 2 points. But the median list price and is going down. Again, lots of opportunity. Average days on market. What's your guess?
114.
106.
Ooh.
So, yep. Actually, it's 105. I can't see. I'm getting old. 105. Average days on market, 39% decreases. Inventory is going down, obviously with the holidays and everything. Median rent, $3,400 in King County. In Pierce County, the median rent, not just median, was 2,800. I saw a townhome, 1,100 square feet, get listed today for 2,900, 3 bedroom, 2 bath in Puyallup for rent. So not in the best area. And I'm like, wow, you could buy a house, rent out a room with you and your buddy, and pay less than that for your rent. So those things, and those are fixed costs that you can't handle. One of the other things I was talking about with the team, and we'll end on this, is I feel like some generations are concerned about like home maintenance and how to take care of a home and what that looks like. And so, as well with our home education, home buying education classes, we're also going to talk about like how to maintain your equity in a home,
Love that.
how to handle protecting that, as well as like things to pay attention to and set aside, and how much money should you have set aside for home repairs and what that looks like, because it is different going from renting and then having, to be able to rely on if your home floods, right? Which really, if that happens when you're renting, you're SOL'd anyways, but your dryer goes out, those types of things. We can talk about cost and how to set you up for success in those situations so that you can protect your equity and have pride in home ownership and not be scared to purchase because you are worried about the fear of what happens next. So we are going to add those as well. So
I love that. So come get your questions answered on January 21st with us live.
you got it. We will be live. It will be over a Zoom, live streamed to our Facebook platforms. So if you want the Zoom link so that we know that you're in attendance and you can ask questions, all the better. But share it with your friends. Feel free to share this video with your friends. Hold on. We're going to do a talking, and then we're going to end on a talking point card. Let's see.
Okay, what is this?
It's kind of like the life stories, but just talking points.
Fun times.
Okay. I'm not going to ask that one because I already know you get anxious with traveling. Okay. On a cold day, what's your favorite thing to drink?
Oh, that's easy. It's coffee from either Starbucks or Bigfoot, preferably Bigfoot. I love just sitting there, especially if it's cold and rainy and foggy out. I love getting up early and drinking that warm cup of Joe in the morning.
Yeah, no, thank you. My drink does not change whether it's cold or warm. I'm not a hot drink person. I will still
No.
have my iced drink, freezing cold at a football game, snowing to death, and I will still have my iced drink. And it will stay cold because it's cold outside. So so that does not change based on weather. I'll just stick my sugar-free Red Bull drink from Bigfoot in the snow and drink it. That is what's happening.
So
Okay,
true.
well, we will see you guys next week.
Yes.
Thank you for your support. Hi, Brian. Hi, Michelle. I appreciate you guys watching and hope you guys have a fantastic day.
See you guys later.
Bye.